Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillion, and thank you for joining me as we talk about chapters 1 and 2 of the Webtoon series God of Highschool. Now real quick before I start this video, I just want to point out that I'm doing this as a way to find out the best possible way of presenting my thoughts to you. I haven't actually reviewed a Webtoon series before, so I don't really know whether or not doing it chapter by chapter is actually a good idea. So this one I'm doing it in 2 chapters, and then obviously you can give me your thoughts whether you think the content in each chapter is enough and warrants its own separate video. But with all that being said, if you're interested in my Tower of God anime series and you want me to review the Webtoon series for that, then fear not, because I'll be doing that once the anime has ended. But hopefully you can give me all the feedback on this series, whether it's layout or whether it's just how much I have to read before doing a video, so then I can bring you the best type of content. Please leave all your thoughts, feedback and comments down below. But with all that out of the way, let's just get talking. Let's talk about my first impressions of the God of Highschool. And honestly, I loved the writing of these first 2 chapters. It was created in a way that was very smart, and all of the characters that were utilised to their max potential in the positions and situations that they had to be in. The plot moved forward in a very realistic way, and they gave you a bit of emotion within the second chapter, which I thought was very good. We have 2 characters that we're introduced to in the first 2 chapters that are very different. They both have very different circumstances and very different goals when they wish to achieve at the end of the series. So let's talk about these 2 characters. First of all, I do just need to also say there's going to be name errors. Do apologise about that, but I'll continue to improve as I go along. So first of all, let's talk about Mori Jin and Dawei Han, aka the Mad Cow. You can see the names on the bottom if you just want to have context that way. And why do I think that these 2 characters have a great introduction? Well, very simple. Mori Jin is a carefree character that is only serious when fighting, and although we've seen characters like that before, an example of this would be that he does remind me heavily of Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, I still found this character to be very unique and to have very different character traits that help differentiate his character from the generic I'm only serious when I'm fighting type of genre that we've come to know from shonen and other manga and comic series. The fact that he's an accomplished taekwondo fighter I thought was very cool. I'm personally someone who has done taekwondo in the past. I may not have gotten to black belt like him, but you know, I still know a bit of self-defense, so I can resonate with him on that front. However, the line about him saying that he keeps his eyes open while punching to see the punches come in slow motion, I thought was pretty cool. It shows us that he's got a very unique technique that was, it was a nice little drop of information, but it raises the question in my mind as to why has he got a sleep mask on his head? Does his eyes give out if he fights for too long? Dunno. Or is it that it's a way to improve on his own style and craft of fighting? We know that martial artists, whether that's in comic, manga, anime, real life, once they've mastered their style of fighting, in this case for Mori Jin it would be taekwondo, then he'll go and develop his own type of fighting style. Maybe it's just his character wanting to have a fighting style in where he doesn't need to rely on his sense of sight. Thus, it heightens the other senses, and, he works on improving those. I don't know. It's only been 2 chapters that I've read so far, and if you do know, then just sit back and laugh at me making all the assumptions under the sun, but please do not spoil it. However, I will keep in mind that it's probably just a character design trait, something to make him look a bit more different instead of just very generic. Plus, I like the fact that in this chapter, he's set up to be this really strong character that's never won a fight, or never lost a fight even, sorry. He's never lost a fight. And he loses by the end of this chapter. But he's not a stroppy kid and he doesn't throw a tantrum. Instead, he's excited. And that's something I quite liked. It's, again, a feature that we've seen before from different shows and medias, but it's still very nice. And I think the fact that this character, first of all, declined the invitation to join the HOG or is it GOH? The competition was very fitting for the character, and I like the fact that he only accepted the invitation if he lost a fight. Again, it's true to the character based on the information that we know thus far. It's only been one chapter, but again, we do have a small insight as to what his character's like. But then, if you flip into chapter 2, then the mood and the kind of feel and vibe of this chapter completely shifts. As we follow D1 Han, aka the Mad Cow, as we experience the fact that he, as a character, has had a completely different lifestyle. His lifestyle has probably been a bit harder, a bit more tougher than our main protagonist that we know so far, and his personality is pretty much the opposite. He's a very hardworking and very thoughtful and caring person, which that may not have been the case all the way through his life. One thought that did run through my mind was maybe him and his friend, which I'm covering up, so I'll just shrink myself down a little bit, might have in fact been like this, sort of gang thing. We know that from one of the dialogues from a character in this chapter, in chapter 2, that this character might have been known as the Mad Cow, along with another person, and they were very kind of, people feared them throughout the series, throughout the sort of the world in which the series is in. So maybe what happened was, they were in a fight, his friend had bit off more than he can chew, and unfortunately went into hospital. But I love the fact that Han has kind of developed and grown so much as a character, and he's willing to put his past to one side, work very hard. He's got 2 part-time jobs, and he's juggling school at the same time just to help fund his friend's medical bill. I thought that's very telling of his character, and we have a scene with him on the rooftop talking to his friend, which speaks volume about the relationship that these two have together. They're both obviously friends. One wants to help the other, but the other doesn't want the help. Now, this helps to explain exactly why Han is working so hard just to help fund his friends. There is a brief mention of a sister from the friend, and it turns out that she doesn't have enough to pay for the bills, hence to why our second protagonist here is working so hard to cover the bill so that his friend can recover. I definitely find myself rooting more for this character than I do for the other protagonist that we meet in chapter 1, simply because his motivations for joining this competition is so much more meaningful and has so much more weight and impact behind it. I just think it's a lot more and a lot better than just someone who wants to prove they're the strongest in the world. Now, I've spoken about these two characters. These are the characters that are the focus of the chapters. We're introduced to them right off the bat, so we know they're going to be important. However, there's a really solid piece of writing, and it comes from the organisation that's running the GOH, as they are shown to be really resourceful, really kind of smart. They deploy their members in a very unique and brilliant way, to the point where they know who they're sending their employers to, or their employees to, even, and it works perfectly. Let me explain. So, we have this green-haired guy here, and he's trying to recruit Mori Jin to participate in this event that they're hosting. Now, this, to me, is the perfect choice based on what we saw from this person. This green-haired man looks really strong, and he's shown to be quite capable in terms of being powerful. As you see, he kind of destroyed the environment in front of us, which implies he's very strong. Now, if we look at what Mori Jin wanted, again, he wants to fight strong people. He wants to prove that he's the strongest guy out there. So to have someone show up that's strong and convince him that, look, if you go to this place, you're going to find people that are strong like me, or if not stronger. Come and test your skills. And he gives that display of power, and he kind of proves that Mori Jin is actually just a small fish in a big pond. That, to me, is brilliant. Now, if you were to flip those over, and you would have said that Just trying to find... I've lost the image. 2 seconds. However, if you were to flip it over and think, hold on a minute, how would it handle if the green-haired guy tried to recruit the mad cow? This obviously would not work, because Dawan Han's goal is to make sure his friend recovers as quickly as possible. And that's basically what he wants. He doesn't want to prove he's the strongest. He doesn't want to fight. He wants to put that aside so that him and his friend can just share a pint together or something. And that's fine. But sending the green-haired guy, who is obviously more recruited to persuade stronger people, wouldn't work here. Because if we look at how this character was, in fact, convinced, we have the smart-haired guy with glasses turning up and saying, huh, you want that much money? That's quite pitiful, if I'm honest. We can certainly do that for you. But, and then obviously if someone says, look, if you win this, we can give you that amount of money. It's a vast amount of money, and you're probably having a bit of doubt. You probably wouldn't believe him. Then they go out and they shift outside. He follows them out there, and there's a massive jumbo jet that's obviously going to cost probably more than what he needs in terms of like cost and expense. And it goes, hold on a minute. This guy's actually telling me the truth. If he's got something this expensive, then it's likely that if I do this and do what he says and wins this competition, given me that much money, and the fact that he could help cure my friend the same day, is very likely and very possible. Now, I might be a bit of a stretch with that phrase, but I find it to be a lot more effective than just turning up and trying to beat him and force him to join. So I think that the way they handled that, the way they showed off that, you know, you can have a large-scale wish, like having a big jet or having something that's very expensive, showing him that anything that's worth a lot of money is possible, was a great choice for a writing standpoint. Now, if you had taken this approach again to flip it on the other side and told Morihjin this, if Morihjin has seen the big aeroplane and found out he could earn loads and loads of money, he would have carried on walking going, strongest, strongest, like he did to start with. So that's why I think that they actually wrote the right characters in the right situation and right circumstances. And it's one of the things that I actually really did like about the series. It's smart, it's progressional, and even with the organisation killing those people that were on the beach at the start, it shows that they're a big threat as well. So that's also a very good opening. So all in all, with the writing, with the art style, because the art style is actually really nice. I do find it easy to follow. The character designs are pretty cool. They're not like the most extravagant and the best, but I still like them. The dialogue was easy to follow, so that's pretty good. So overall, if the brilliant writing style keeps up and the characters that we're introduced to are just as great as the ones we've got now, then I can't wait to read further into the series. And, you know, I think it's going to be quite a fun one. I know the anime is coming out, and if this kind of thing is anything like the Tower of God series that I've been reviewing and watching, then I'm certainly going to pick it up nevertheless. If you haven't read the series, then I'll link it in the description below so you can go and check it out. Then you can go give me your thoughts firsthand and of these two chapters. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm reaching in some of the places? If you have any feedback for the series in general, then let me know down in the comments. Much appreciated. And yeah, like the video if you like the video, dislike if you dislike, but again, let me know why. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me, and until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Alligator, matane, goodbye.